Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Depth Growth Marketing Week session about marketing and AI. Today, we're going to quickly run through what AI is and how it's changing the lives of marketeers. In the next 30 minutes or so, we hope to inspire you with some very practical examples of how you can get started, how you can walk, and how you can run with the AI within your marketing department. Joining me today are Bob Brisky. He's the CTO at Depth and also our specialist on AI. He's calling in from San Francisco, so he might have some video issues. Louise Jongen, she's from Salesforce, a solution engineer, and Bram van der Doelen, he's our tech lead for marketing automation team. But first, let me quickly explain why we are here together with Salesforce. So Depth and Salesforce have been partnering up for the last 10 years, and we share some values. So everything that we do at Depth is a blend between technology and marketing, and with that blend, we deliver end-to-end customer experiences for our clients. And Salesforce has the customer 360 vision within their platform, and that is a great match. Secondly, both Depth and Salesforce are pioneers at heart. Depth is constantly working on new innovative stuff, and Salesforce is as well, and AI is a very good example of that. And also, Louise will explain a little bit about that later. During Dreamforce, Data plus AI plus CRM proposition was launched by Salesforce, and we're really curious to hear more about that. And third, our organizations are more than about business. We are beyond business, and we do a lot to make the world a little bit of a better place, step by step. And what really brings us together is that both Salesforce and Depth help brands stay ahead in these challenging times. And AI can be the next step. Without further ado, let me introduce Bob. Bob, can you explain a little bit more about the basics of AI, please?
Hi, everyone. My name is Bob Brisky, and I'm excited to be here with you to talk about Depth and how we're using AI, especially over the past 10, 11 months with the advent of large language models or what you've probably heard of as GPT or some other name to explain the same thing. But I'll get into explaining a little bit about how we're using them, what we think they're important for, and even a little bit about what they are. So for about 80 years now, which is my whole life, probably most of everybody else on this call's whole life, we've been training ourselves to talk to computers. Computers are not able to understand our language, not in any kind of way that makes any sense. I think there's been attempts before, but there's nothing that has really worked. And so we've trained ourselves to do things like keyword searches. We pretend like our files are actually in a file system to make it easier to search for those files and find them. We have error messages that we write SQL, we write code instead of talking to the computer and telling it what we want to do. Spreadsheets. There's just the amount of examples of this goes on and on, and it's primarily because we've split the world in between two different types of data, of content: structured data, this data that the computers can understand, and unstructured data, which is kind of a derisive way to talk about everything else. All of Shakespeare's plays, the Magna Carta, the way that we communicate to each other. But that's kind of a silly way to think of it. Humans have been able to express ideas to each other for millennia. Our speech is structured. It's just structured in a way that computers can't understand or haven't typically been able to understand. And that has changed in the past year with these large language models, because now computers using these large language models can derive structure from our spoken language or written language, and in a way that wasn't possible before. And so they can understand us. Large language models are one way of talking about this. It's more focused on models, but you may have heard another name, GPT, for these types of models. GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. And we're most interested at Depth in this pre-trained portion of it because it allows these models to be much more effective than previous AI models were, where you needed to train them. The training is actually one of the hardest and most time-intensive parts of developing an AI model. And so the ability to get pre-trained models is really exciting to us. And let me give you a quick example of how we're using it. So this ability to understand natural language that I was talking about, you kind of see it in this small application we made for a client of ours that is a mental health provider. They get thousands of these doctor bios. They're about a paragraph explaining what the doctor does, where they went to school, other things like that. And previously, they either had to train a model taking tens of thousands of hours, and that model would be not very accurate, or they had to have people kind of go read through it and extract all of the important data like what therapies that the doctor provides, what pathologies that they treat, so that they could, when people come to the site or the application and they have problems, they're able to match them with doctors that actually can treat those problems. And that's a really important. That's obviously something really important for this this site or this application or company to be able to do. And before GPT, it was very hard, or large language models, it was extremely hard. And so this ability to understand natural language, we think at Depth is even more important than its ability to generate new language. This understanding is really, I think, what is allowing us to write some applications and partner with some different companies and do some really, really interesting things. And this is just one paragraph. If you think of the growth in data, either at a company, but on the web in general, just the growth in content is exponential. And this ability to apply a technology that can understand human language to this huge explosion in the amount of content that we have, that we really think that is going to be the big differentiator between companies that are kind of dabbling in this and companies that are really making a strategic decision to use this technology. And we're calling that understanding at scale. It's not just understanding one or two or three paragraphs. It's understanding all content that your site either has on it or generates, all content that your application is using, in a way that you can kind of deploy this structured data, deploy this technology in a way that just wasn't possible before. And we're calling this at Depth the conceptual web, the ability to organize all of your previously disparate content in a way that's that you can kind of unlock the value really quickly, making these ideas that you have already in your content accessible, searchable, and really understandable at scale. And so we've created some products using this technology. We've partnered with some other companies. One of those companies is Salesforce, and they're doing some really interesting
stuff, I think Bob was trying to say as a last word. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but if you want to see Bob in real life, he's sitting in San Francisco. Hit him up on LinkedIn. He will reach out to you. So thanks to Bob, we now have a better understanding of basics of AI. I really want to get started. I'm a practical person. Let's go, right? So what can we build? Let's go for it.
Well, Nick, if I can stop you there. I love that you're so enthusiastic about getting started with AI.
Of course, yeah.
I'm also very enthusiastic, but I think there's something more to just getting started.
Okay.
Actually, there's a crucial, essential step that we need to get straight before we get started with AI and make sure that it's doing what you want it to do. And that is these forward-looking statements. The answer is somewhere in there. No, I'm just kidding. I just have to show these slides to you to tell you that please make your purchasing decisions based on products and services that Salesforce currently offers. But to go further, I love that you're excited, but we need to talk about something else first if you want to get started with AI. And that is that AI is only as good as your data. Let me explain. The better your data, the better AI is helping you generate ideas that you can actually work with. Tools like ChatGPT can answer a lot of questions, and it's something amazing. But if you want it to create personalized experiences for your customers, it's often not that easy to make it actually work. let me illustrate with an example. So I can imagine that as marketers, you've definitely already tried ChatGPT at least one time to help you create personalized messages and campaigns. Just like me for this event, for example. The other day, I asked ChatGPT to help me create a personalized invitation for this event. And what I got back, and I can imagine that a lot of you already experienced something similar to this, is a message like this, with either a lot of puns, zero personalization, too dramatic, or in other words, not very useful. And that is because the prompt is not grounded with the right data. And for anyone familiar with what grounding means, basically grounding means adding relevant examples and data and context to your prompt so that generative AI can actually create ideas that you can use for your marketing. But what happens with me then is that I end up spending almost as much time grounding my prompts than having actually created myself. So imagine if there was a way to already have all of your relevant data and grounding that you want to have in your prompts available for you so that you can get started and actually work and create the best ideas. Yeah. What if there was a way to let generative AI know you and your company and your customer data so you can save a lot of time and be more relevant? However, often it's quite difficult to do that so far. But imagine if you could do that, you can then have way more personalized messages, content, and also make sure that your messages will actually drive conversion and engagement. And what if we're not just talking about generating personalized messages, but also generating segments by ourselves, or go beyond text and generate images and banners and video content and so forth? How cool would that be? And this is where Salesforce comes in to help you. And we do this by, first of all, giving you a platform with a single source of truth for your entire business. So we're not just talking marketing, but also service and sales and commerce, so that you have all your relevant data into one place. Then that data is layered upon native AI tools. And we're not just talking predictive AI, but also generative AI that we've been building upon for years and years to power you with the most useful tools to work smarter and easier and faster. And on top of that, then we give you the actual tools to create those personalized and relevant customer experiences with and automate all of that into scalable omni-channel journeys. And let's talk a bit more about how that looks like for marketing in particular. With Salesforce, we have Marketing Cloud, and Marketing Cloud helps you with both generative and predictive AI capabilities that will transform the way that you actually interact with your marketing systems. And how we do that is first we make your data actionable. And that means that all your customer data, if we're talking offline, in-store data from your POS systems, or we're talking deep web behavior and what your customers are doing on your commerce website, all of these can be integrated from any source into one unified customer profile so that you can get to know your customers and easily segment and action your data for intelligent personalization that scales. And on top of that, we have AI infused across the entire campaign lifecycle, and you'll be able to automate and personalize every moment across every channel. Not just email, but also mobile, web, ads, and so forth. So then do you have a question? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm very intrigued by this, but do we really want to have large language models sitting on top of our customer data?
That's a very good point. And to be honest, at Salesforce, we were also really, we think it's very important and crucial because on the one hand, our customers, they want to benefit from large language models and they want to get value from there. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, they're worried that their customer data, their important confidential customer data will not stay into their system and will damage privacy and security and so forth. Yep. And that's why we've built the Einstein Trust Layer into our platform. And that is solely made so that our teams can both benefit from generative AI, but without compromising on their data. Because we really believe that your data is yours. And that's the end of the story, basically. Yeah. There are no compromises on that.
No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I really appreciate these measures being taken, of course. But I also want to know more about marketing and AI. Like your proposition is really clear, and I love it. But how can we make it actionable?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Okay, great.
Maybe we should use an example, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? So
Great
let's
idea.
let's take a look at a day in the life of a typical digital marketer, for example.
Mhm.
Here we have Rachel, and she's a digital marketer at Northern Trail Outfitters, which is an outdoor gear company. Think of Ace Adventure, Decathlon, and so forth. And the reason why Rachel is working there is because that she loves nature herself. She's passionate about being outdoor, nature, and that's what she loves doing. However, because she has a lot of work, that means that she can't spend time doing what she loves, being outdoor in nature. So let's take a look at how AI is actually helping her to doing not only what she loves, being in nature, but also spend more time in her work on what she loves. So being more strategic, thinking about her campaigns, and so forth. So from the start of her day, which is planning the day, thinking about which segments to create, to actually creating segments, and then campaigns and creating content, to at the end of the day reflecting, AI will always be at her side with easy and fast and smart tools for her to work with and boost her time. So let's take a look at how that actually looks like behind the scenes. Let's say that I step into the shoes of Rachel right now, and I start my day here in Salesforce, where I reflect on how my campaigns are doing and how my segments are doing. So not only do I have a very clear and useful insights on how my current activities are going, but I also have my best friend Einstein, which is our native AI tool in Salesforce, that is always standing beside me with actionable recommendations that are not only data-driven, but also effective. And in this case, Einstein is recommending me to perhaps create a segment or target users that have just signed up for the loyalty membership of Northern Trail Outfitters and love hiking, just like her. That's really cool. She knows exactly where to focus her time on, but now she needs to create a segment. And either she needs to contact her data science team, or she needs to go into SQL and create that segment that way, which takes a lot of time for her and is not really her favorite part of her job. But she can ask Einstein again to help her with that. And the only thing she needs to do is literally ask for it. For example, create a segment of loyalty members who are also hiking enthusiasts, and then add some more requests to it. And just in a few clicks, Einstein is there for her like a true friend and is creating the right segment. Now, me as Rachel, I love that because not only did I save a lot of time, but I didn't have to be very technical, go into SQL and so forth. But also, I'm still in control here. I can still adjust the segments. I can still determine what I really want to do with my marketing, so that Einstein is next to me and not in front of me.
Yep.
So let's create that segment. And of course, now we want to act on that data. We want to create a personalized omni-channel campaign. And normally, I would have to create that myself, but luckily, I can choose from some templates such as a welcome journey for a loyalty program, for example, and boom, I already have the first few steps there for me so that I don't have to set it up myself, which saves me a lot of time again. And now what rests me is my actual marketing work is creating some personalized emails. And I can simply do this. And the first thing I need to do is create a subject line, which is personally my least favorite part of my day, because every time that I need to create either subject lines or email content, suddenly I have a writer's block coming in front of me.
Happens all the time.
Happens all the time, exactly. But luckily, Einstein is there again to do the nitty-gritty work for me and get me started and boosted on my inspiration for the day, because Einstein is creating a subject line for me now. The only thing I need to do is ask for it. And I hear you thinking maybe, well, why don't I just put that prompt into ChatGPT myself and ask ChatGPT directly? That's good.
Yeah, well, you asked it yourself, but
yeah.
Good question.
yeah. Well, actually, this is way more interesting for me because not only do I have the data sitting in that large language model in ChatGPT already, but also ChatGPT is continuously learning from other subject lines that Einstein has generated. And they can take in that data and those results to make more data-driven, effective subject lines next time. So that we always keep on improving and keep on maximizing open rates, click-through rates, engagements, and conversion. Another reason why this is way more interesting than putting it just in ChatGPT is because you can add your own brand identity, which will help you save a lot of time on extra groundings that you need to do and so forth. Because OpenAI now, the Einstein now knows who you are and what you want to do. Do you want to have a professional tone of voice? Do you want to have a casual tone of voice? Maybe an adventurous tone of voice? It's all possible, and you can use that directly into your subject lines. And boom, now we've created some subject lines, my writer's block is gone, and I saved a lot of time, and I can actually focus on what I like to do in marketing, which is be creative. And we're not just talking subject lines, we're also talking any type of context. For example, body content, it works exactly the same way. Or we can go beyond that and think about images as well. Because I want to add our newest Renegade mid-boot hiking shoes that I think would be super cool for these email recipients, hiking enthusiasts. But the problem is that we only have one product image of these hiking boots with a white background, which is not very appealing and which might harm some click-through rates and my marketing efforts. What I would need to do normally is contact the creative team, wait a few weeks for them to get back with the right branded images and so forth. But I'm very happy because now we have a typeface integration as well, where I can do all of that myself without even having to ask the creative team for help. The only thing I need to do is put in the hiking boots products and describe what I want to do with that image. For example, add engaging background, and there we go. This product image has just been a bit beautified with the nature background.
Cool.
And yeah.
Looks really good.
So now we've seen a lot of generative AI tools, some examples of how Rachel uses that in a day of her life. But we're not just talking generative AI, we're also talking predictive AI, which has been integrated into Salesforce for years and years and years already, and which contains some very simple tools that you can enable today already to boost your marketing. For example, Einstein STO or send time optimization, which can easily determine for each and every recipient when they're most likely to engage with emails, and then optimize that and send it at that time so that all your open rates will be boosted. So this is just a simple example of how AI can help you as a marketer.
Thank you very much, Louise. And also, if you have questions for Louise, please ask them in the chat, and then we might have some time in the end to answer them. Otherwise, we'll make a one-on-one connection. But also, you know, there's a lot of different organizations out there. Some of them are further with their data strategy and structure, and others are already like miles ahead. Bram, how can we practically, you know, crawl, walk, run? Title of this session as well with AI. So how can we get started?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Nick. A great question. I think we've already we have a lot of clients that are already working with AI, and I just took some industry examples and put them in a crawl, walk, run fashion. Cool. So coming from crawl, which is a really simple use case of AI, to run, which is more sophisticated. And I think I'll just dive straight into it. Let's start with the crawl one. Mm-hmm. And you might know Nivea, that's a personal care brand. And for them, we have done tests with the send time optimization that Louise had talked about before. So send time optimization in Marketing Cloud makes sure that every subscriber receives an email at the time that is most relevant for them, rather than just sending out a batch email time. So what we did for Nivea is we tested like the 9 a.m. in the morning batch email time for everyone versus send time optimization. And we saw that in 9 out of 10 cases, 9 of 10 situations, the send time optimization performed similar or better than the batch time that was used. And in one case, we even saw an increase in engagement from 35%. It started with the batch time was a 40% open rate, and actually was a 90% open rate with send time optimization, which is a really big difference and really makes impact on revenue of your email campaign.
I think Rachel
Yeah.
And then let's go to like a walk example, and this is from Oddly Travel. Oddly Travel is a company that offers tailor-made trips, and I really liked the product because every trip that they sell is really different. So you go to the website, see different trips, get inspired, and then you get in contact with the travel agent, and he really helps you with getting the trip of a
Yep.
lifetime. What we did for Oddly Travel is we implemented Marketing Cloud personalization, and it really broke down the silos between the web and the email channel. For marketeer, the web channel is pretty hard to grasp. In a lot of organizations, you see that only the email channel is being used, opens and clicks, but not really what's happening on the website. And for Oddly Travel, we managed to break down those silos. So what we did is that we can see that you're browsing around on the website. We see that you're interested in, for example, the country Australia, and we see that your holiday type is adventurous. Well, based on that information, we send you the next day, if you leave the website without making a purchase or requesting a quote, we actually send you an email with personalized itineraries that are relevant for you. And I think the cool part is that these are really hyper-personalized emails because it's based on your behavior as a subscriber, and also the content in the email is really personalized. So you saw that in terms of open rate, we had with 6 different use cases live, and one of the use cases scored up to 70% of an open rate. So 7 out of 10 subscribers actually opened the email that they received.
Right.
That's amazing, especially if you consider that in a normal industry, like 20 to 30% is a normal open rate. And also we saw the click to open rate. So the people that opened, 30% actually got back to the website via this email and started in this process of getting or buying this itinerary again. So also really good results by having AI in your customer journey.
Yeah.
And then I go to the run phase, and this is using large language models like Bob explained us at the beginning of the presentation. And for Nivea, we used large language models to create efficiencies in translations. So before it took really a lot of time to get these translations done. And with AI, we made sure that this was reduced with 60%. So we had a really efficiencies within the organizations to do this.
Yeah.
And I got an extra step for you, the Usain Bolt step, just to show you where we're going to in the future.
Yeah.
And what you see is that when you have this email creation process from ID to actually send out and then the performance, there are a lot of steps in there, and we're using, for example, for Nivea AI in this language translation step. We're also already using it at other steps, but I think that eventually we will use them in all the steps and also interconnect these steps with each other via AI. So really close down the loop between ID and execution and measuring performance and creating another ID out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we slowly going to, and where Salesforce is also showing its value, really making the life of a marketer easy, and let AI come up with IDs, and the human only has to decide, is this a good idea or not, and then says yes. It's being put live, it shows performance, and then it goes over and over again.
Wow, cool.
And yeah, I think I now want to direct to the viewers at home. So where are you at right now? Are you in the crawl, walk, or run phase? And where is the ambition of your company? Well, wherever your ambition will be, or where you're currently at, we can help you out. We're open to have a 30-minute call about this and just discuss the possibilities with AI within your organization.
Yeah. Hit me up with a message, and then I'll connect the dots. Yeah, that was it, I think, from our perspective. We have some time for questions, I think. So let me open my phone and see if there are any questions from the audience. The question for Louise: have you already partnered with any of your clients for a real campaign/activation using the platform?
For the generative AI, do you mean, or for the?
It doesn't specifically say what part, but I would say so. Yeah.
So just to get it right for me as well.
Yep.
So the question is if Salesforce has already partnered up with specific customers and clients for marketing, right?
Yeah. So have you partnered already with one of your clients for a real usage of this?
Yeah.
What you showed?
That's a good question.
Yep.
So for some of these generative AI features, we're already live and customers are happily using it. If we're talking about generative now. For predictive, our customers have been using it for years and years. And then we have some new innovations as well coming up in the future, in a few months, for example, that some of our customers are piloting right now, so that we can make sure that it's working the way our customers really want, and that it's actually bringing value to our customers.
Yep.
And after that pilot, it will go live for everyone, and we expect our customers to work with that as well.
Yeah, cool. And Salesforce has 4 releases per year, right, of new
Yeah.
features and stuff. Also for the AI part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say personally, this is just the beginning of these generative AI examples that we've seen
Yep.
with Salesforce. And what I personally love about Salesforce is that we're continuously innovating. So 4 times a year, we have a release where we continuously improve our platform to be not just advantages for users, but also advantages in terms of other platforms that
Yep.
are always cutting edge in terms of innovation.
All right. Thank you. I have another question for you, Louise. You're most popular out of the 3 of us, clearly. How do we keep control as marketers on AI? Should we be scared?
I think that's, like you said as well in the ending of your session, of your presentation, it's something crucial and important and something we should keep talking about. And
Yep.
it's even a separate topic, I think, or that we should dedicate to. But to keep it short and summarized, Salesforce's motto is to always keep the human in the loop. At every point. We've seen it in the demo as well, that, like you said, we have a feedback loop where the human can always review, adjust, and regenerate ideas that generative AI is giving us. And the point is that Einstein, or our generative AI tool, is there besides us as a little co-pilot instead of in our seats, in our driver's seats. Yeah.
Clear. Thank you very much, both of you, and also Bob, of course, from San Francisco. So this was it. If there's any other questions from the audience, feel free to reach out to any of us. The contact details are in the slides that we'll be sending over as well, or connect with us on LinkedIn. Doesn't matter which channel, we are there. Thank you for watching, and until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.